question. It's different than what we're discussing, but we had our niece 3 years ago living with us for a few months. She was at that time in the 6th grade, so she went to West Jeffco Middle School in Conifer. What I've noticed, they don't have textbooks there. The assignments were ridiculous. Like English, the assignment for English was taking a picture of herself in the mirror, or to open a drawer in the kitchen and write down what's in the drawer. I think that's an assignment for kindergarten.
She was what? She was in like 6th grade. I think.
She was in the 6th grade, yeah. So my question is, how do you think a state governor can improve school or public school system?
What would a governor do in the face of education and the idea that your niece would be sent home with the assignment to write down, and she's 12 years old,
She was at that time probably 13 or 14.
to take a picture of herself in the mirror?
Yeah, that was the assignment for English or language art. They call it now language art.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Well, I would assume that this would be an assignment associated with self-esteem. Self-esteem is supplanted critical thinking as an issue, so you should love yourself. We're teaching nihilism. Nihilism is a wonderful thing. So we should, well, we would ask them to study Nietzsche, but we can't do that because they wouldn't understand it. And to truly be a nihilist, you can't understand that, so it's a problem. The knives, the forks, the spoons.
Or whatever.
Yes, well, we're essentially teaching the nihilist that at some point in time, you may, under an emergency circumstance, have to feed yourself. A true nihilist believes somebody else will do that for them. What would I do to change the educational system? I would begin to require that the budgets, not the classroom sizes, the budgets and the administrations started shrinking. I would also find a way to stop taking federal education dollars. I would, under no circumstances, expand the educational enterprise. The other thing I would do is I would fight tooth and nail for the voucher system. I would allow people to choose their own educations for their own children. I would support the idea of homeschooling.
That would have been my next question.
And allow them to choose a curriculum. Because that diversification of education in the state is not a mainstream concept wherein the mainstream educators would say to you, well, they're all going to be Christian schools. They're not. They're going to be broad-based, individualistic education. If you look at in 1790, 1800 in this country, education was done by private companies. There were hundreds of private companies in New York City offering educations, and they were superior educations to anything the public schools have ever brought on board. You read a book by Thomas Sowell called Black Rednecks, White Liberals. Talks about what happened when the cracker mentality from the Highland Scots and Irish came across, and he draws a line that the inner city black kids are actually acting like rednecks from Scotland in the 1700s. And that is the reason that the northern states put together the educational enterprise to fight what was being pulled into the southern states with whites. So you look at the history of this whole thing, you would say private enterprise. And then you have this broad-based educational aspect, and they will be, in order to compete for students, the students in a very short order are going to be graduating into universities where are they accepted. Where do they get their jobs? The parents are going to be absolutely directed to get your education here. You want to be a doctor, this is where you have to go. Instead of this one-size-fits-all mentality where we take the poor, insipid character that cannot compete and make him or her the icon to education, and leave behind the potential of our country at the bottom.
Listen to the old man. Listen to the old man. Listen to the old man. When you can.